Robert, we're talking about loopholes here in industries that are being affected and so forth. And I mean, in general, and also before the global pandemic, obviously the green agenda is a big topic of the world right now. The green transformation, the ESG, and so forth. How is that affecting the future of investments? And is it something that you're looking at from a Vista Equity Partner standpoint in terms of the green transformations here?
Yeah, and are we? Yes, I mean, it is very much central to the way that we are evaluating risk. I think that's one of the most important things that investors have to think about, and how do you manage this whole concept and idea of risk? And to think about investing in businesses today that are not sustainable across, think about broadly speaking ESG, initiatives. If you don't think about those things, I mean, you're about to waste a lot of money, because they're just, they're just not. It's just not a sustainable model if you don't do this properly. You don't do it in a way that truly approaches the market in that fashion. So, I mean, I can walk you through. We have a whole series of initiatives at Vista. One of the things I think we're most excited about is, we have a sustainability leadership council. Just to give you a sense, 100% of our companies participate in it. Okay. And what does that mean? That means we're going to share best practices, host webinars, and engage on ESG initiatives as it relates to software companies. Okay. In concert. Again, one of the principal advantages we have is private equity funds, right? Or ours in particular. We hold, 68, whatever software companies at any point in time. And so if you're sitting there with a $400 million software company, you have a certain set of resources. Or if you're at a $2 billion software company, you've got a certain set of resources to understand how ESG is impacting not only your company, but your customers. Well, if you're a $30 million revenue software company, you have nowhere near that set of resources, but wouldn't you like the insights? Okay, that's what our infrastructure provides. Okay, and it provides that ability for them to tap into those. And, everything from the way we do, how do you build an ESG assessment across your portfolio company? Okay, how do you then do, how do you do measurements and checks? We've got, people internal to Vista as well in the portfolio companies that are all focused on how do you build, those sort of measurement capacity and judge and create management objectives associated with them. How do you think about, GHG, right? From our perspective, one of my main goals at Vista is not only will we be able to transform enterprise software companies that come into our system, become faster growing, more profitable, create better products in a shorter period of time, add to what I'll call the capacity of productivity into the global workforce, the marketplace. But I want us to also convert every one of those companies to be green. Okay. So for us, software is interesting. You've got software businesses, you have travel and you have power consumption. By and large, that's the impact that you make on the planet in terms of, your consumptive impact. Now, how do you create real solutions to offset, that greenhouse gas footprint? You can actually measure it, and now you can actually do something about it. Okay, which is what we're doing. So part of what we do is we say at the Vista level, we said, we did this years ago, 2 years ago, I guess, maybe 3, I guess 2.5. We figured out what our greenhouse gas footprint is, and then we said, we're going to purchase specific credits, in this case, from Chayulu Hills in Kenya project. And you basically now buy that, and they keep that forest, which is one of the red projects, but, forest protected to improve the quality for that whole ecosystem. And this is in, again, southeastern Kenya. Okay, now once you have that model, we can now take it to every one of our portfolio companies and assess, okay, what is your greenhouse gas footprint and how do we offset it?
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's an important part of, as they say the words, the U.S. eating your own dog food, right now, but kind of practicing what you preach. And so not only will our companies become more efficient in how they operate, they're going to come out of our ecosystem as green. So that's one of my main goals. I've got a team focused on this every day. And now how do we go accomplish this in this shorter period of time is really what the challenge is. And, I am hopeful that through this sort of leadership approach, all private equity firms ultimately. And I say private equity because we end up controlling a lot of assets, but we have an interesting dynamic. We only control them for a short period of time. Because we buy them, we do our work, in our case, create value. And, you know, our average company, we increase the employee base by 20%. So the greenhouse gas footprint actually increases because we hire more people, right? But if we can actually create and prove a model that we can do this with every one of our companies, that you come in, you know, not as green, but you go out green of this. I think that's a sustainable business model for private equity.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. In addition to the sustainable, you know, reason why we're doing it is to be a lot more gentle on our planet, not only as an industry but as people.